The offseason dust has mostly settled, so who should we be keeping an eye on this upcoming season?
Welcome to the Rines Report with your host, Tristan Rines.
So starting things off, we have the defending Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs coming off of a title, coming off of a championship. Obviously are going to be one of the front runners of teams that we're going to be paying attention to this upcoming season, but for a lot of really interesting and good reasons. Obviously, they got a really stacked offense. They've got Tyreek Hill, they got Patty Mahomes, they got Kelsey, they got Watkins, they got Hardman, they got speed all over the offense. The offensive line getting better and better almost every season. Mitchell Schwartz on the right side, captaining and anchoring the offensive line, and Andy Reid adding more weapons into an offense. The defense is still going to have a lot of its key contributors from last season still on the field. Kyle Fuller still on the field. Chris Jones. The linebacking core has stayed essentially the same, and honestly, I'm really excited to see what's going to happen with the Kansas City Chiefs, whether or not they can, take over the AFC. The beginning of the Patrick Mahomes era started at Super Bowl 54. There's going to be so much more ahead of this squad. Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, and the crew trying to run things back in an AFC that feels almost completely wide open for the first time in 20 years for pretty obvious reasons. Another team to keep your eye on, the San Francisco 49ers, reloaded this offseason, losing some big contributors, albeit in DeForest Buckner and Emmanuel Sanders via trade and free agency, but there's a sense that they're going to be even better this year. Getting Trent Williams, the All-Pro, Pro Bowl left tackle, formerly now of the Washington Redskins, adding him to an offensive line that is incredibly dominant, replacing Joe Staley, who, after a very long and accomplished career, retired. Now, look, they got even better on the defensive side of the ball as well. They got younger all the way around, and I think Javon Kinlaw, one of their first-round picks, is going to be a huge addition to an incredibly talented, young, and fast defense. Adding Brandon Ayuk on the offensive side of the ball gives Jimmy Garoppolo and Kyle Shanahan more weapons to work with this upcoming season, and they're, again, incredibly talented. The biggest question is going to be, are they going to be good enough to continue to dominate the NFC West? Because just the NFC West as a whole is already incredibly contentious. A really difficult division to separate in, along with the Seahawks, the Rams, and the Cardinals all getting better in their various forms this offseason. The 49ers are going to have their work cut out for them. Another team I'm keeping my eyes on are the Green Bay Packers and second-year head coach Matt LaFleur. Aaron Rodgers obviously going to be surrounded with questions entering this next season. The Packers taking the heir apparent at quarterback out of Utah State, Jordan Love, in the first round, and they didn't even take any receivers in this year's draft. A big, need for the offense is another receiver, but it seems they wanted to go a little bit more of the run-heavy attack. They've already got Jamal Williams. They've already got Jones, and on top of that, you add in A.J. Dillon, the running back out of Boston College. You got a three-headed monster, a commodity backfield in Green Bay with a solid offensive line that sees the addition of Ricky Wagner from Detroit. And offensively, you still add another receiver, Devin Funchess, who, didn't even play really last season, dealing with an injury, sidelined very early, heading to IR for the Indianapolis Colts. So the Green Bay Packers are a team I'm going to be curious, because coming off of an NFC championship, you would think they'd want to get better offensively by bringing in, some younger, more premier talent. But that just didn't seem to be the case. So a lot of eyes in Green Bay right now. A lot of eyes are going to remain in Green Bay until, there's not as much confusion. There's some more questions that are being answered. Another team I want to talk about that, deserves a ton of attention are the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And I already talked a lot about them in my prior video this week. So the little eye on the top of the screen popping up right now, you can check out that video. Just click the link. A few more squads left to talk about, but I want to talk about the Baltimore Ravens as being, again, another team you want to keep your eyes on this season. Lamar Jackson, the MVP, had to watch from home as his AFC counterpart in the Kansas City Chiefs with Patrick Mahomes went on to win a Super Bowl. The most exciting team in the NFL last season, the Baltimore Ravens, are going to be coming back with a vengeance, with some more aggression, and especially on the defensive side of the football, going out and making a trade for Calais Campbell, the Walter Payton Man of the Year but incredibly dominant defensive lineman. Went out and got Derek Wolfe to add some more pass rush. Got better in the draft, getting Patrick Queen to shore up the linebacker spots and, give Matt Judon on the opposite side, the edge rusher, a little, less responsibility and let him go headhunt, get quarterbacks. And offensively, getting J.K. Dobbins from Ohio State, adds into an already dominant rushing attack with Mark Ingram, Lamar Jackson, and the receiving options, Mark Andrews and Hollywood Brown, make this offense incredibly dangerous. The biggest question for me with the Baltimore Ravens is how are they going to replace the production of Marshall Yanda, the All-Pro Super Bowl champion guard, sitting right in the middle of the offensive line almost. That production, that Hall of Fame performance, how are they going to be able to hopefully, fill in that gap? Another team that has my spotlight this season inside the same division as the Baltimore Ravens are the Cleveland Browns. They're stacked with talent on both sides of the ball. The offensive line is good, getting Jack Conklin and Jedrick Wills, the offensive tackles on your outside. The receiving options, Landry, Odell Beckham. You got Nick Chubb in the backfield. And tight end wise, they went out and got Austin Hooper to also add to an offensive-minded head coach, Kevin Stefanski, formerly of the Minnesota Vikings. So the offense surrounding Baker Mayfield, this is the year that feels like there's no excuses. This feels like the year that the Cleveland Browns need to break out a little bit, get past the 8-8, try to go above 500. There aren't a lot of excuses. Myles Garrett's coming back into the fold. The defense is still going to be incredibly stacked with talent, like I said, and Denzel Ward adding into that mix as well at the cornerback spot, still playing at an incredibly high level for a young corner. The Cleveland Browns are going to have a lot of eyes on them this season, and most notably, I want to keep my eyes on Baker Mayfield to see how well he's going to be able to perform with, the extra attention, because like I said, there's not a lot of excuses for a lack of success this year. And the final team I want to talk about in this video are the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, the biggest thing that has plagued the Philadelphia Eagles ever since winning Super Bowl 52 with that incredible run by Nick Foles has been health. Staying healthy. The Eagles lost so many players last season, but this year, as long as they can remain healthy, I consider the Eagles to be one of the more talented teams in the NFL. Carson Wentz needs to stay healthy, but they got his backup Jalen Hurts out of Oklahoma, a Heisman contender last year. So even if, he takes a tumble or he gets hit the wrong way or something of that nature, he's got a backup that, there is some reliability in the sense that, hey, this kid's got a lot of potential. Let's see what he can do, and not a ton of pressure on Jalen Hurts. But outside of just the quarterback spot, Deshaun Jackson, Alshon Jeffrey, if they can stay healthy, takes a little bit of the load off of their first-round pick, Jalen Reagor, to have to perform at an incredibly high level. He can transition into the offense very, very smoothly. The offensive line, pretty good still. And running back wise, Boston Scott, Wendell Smallwood, they got a few options defensively. Still a ton of talent. They shored up the secondary problem a little bit with getting Darius Slay. The defensive front seven, still really nice. A ton of talent. Fletcher Cox leading the way. So the Philadelphia Eagles are another team that I'm spotlighting this season, another team that should have your attention. So that's all I got for this video. Thank you so much for watching. All my social medias are down in the description below. Feel free to stick around and watch some more content. Feel free to subscribe, get the bell on to know every single time I'm dropping a video. Like, comment, share, all the good stuff, and I'm gonna catch you in the next video. Adios.